Salute, salute everyone. The streets are always buzzing. Back at it again. Post game after chopping it up on Knicks Real Talk. Got my man Divine. How are we?
Salute CT, the streets are buzzing. Salute, man, everybody. I'm here, man. We talked about it earlier, but it's settled down a little bit. We can get into it a little bit of calmness. But I'm glad to be here, man. Let's get it popping.
Yeah, facts. The Late Show. Salute Will. Salute chat. Yeah, man. Tough loss today. Bad loss. We chopped it up. We did some nice venting on Knicks Real Talk. It was soothing. Tonight we're just going to talk about how we can fix this thing. How the New York Knicks will respond. The pressure that's mounting on the front office, mounting on the players, the coach. Divine. We're just going to get everyone's opinions. Think about how you want to fix this thing moving forward. Because it's early days, early in the season, right? We can't hang our heads. Some moves haven't worked out. We've seen a big enough sample size, and now it's time to put the fix in, Divine.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we had enough sample size. CT for 22 games. We had it at 20 or whatever, but we had 22 game sample size now. And we see that we're not happy with the way it's actually going right now, and it's tough because we lost 3 games in a row, and I get it. You know what I mean? And then so I can understand very well how everybody may be feeling, because I feel the same way in a sense. But and it wasn't so much the last 2 losses CT for me. It was today's loss. So and I think that made me feel some type of way about what I thought that we currently had on our team and what we need to do. So I know we're gonna get into all that, man, but it just was disappointing today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The New York Knicks are now on a 3-game losing streak. I think a part of those tough losses to Brooklyn and Chicago did have a psychological impact. If I'm being honest, yes, there's talent deficiency. Yes, they played awful today, but I feel like those close losses definitely took a bit of the the feel good out of this team after the Atlanta win.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also made me realize too, CT, at least made me not realize, but it made me think of this team the way they lost today. I think them 2 losses could have been demoralizing in a sense where you thought it wasn't nothing moral about it. And they just felt like they might not be good enough. They might feel like they might not be good enough. And today, that might have been a ramification of feeling that way. Listen, man, we played Brooklyn, we almost beat them. We played Chicago, we had that game. But then we also realized, we look at the stat sheets, and the reason why we lost at 30 points a quarter. And today, 30 points a quarter, we giving up. And I just think that them guys might feel like they might not feel, at least I hope they not feeling like that. But just me just trying to put a thought out there. I'm hoping they not feeling like they don't think they're good enough.
Yeah, I agree. That can also be a realization of sinking in that maybe we're just way behind these teams, and we are, our home record, Divine, 5-8 at home, and we're now 1 game under 500, 11-12. So that is tangible evidence that things haven't worked out. The front office, players, all that, they all know that now, and the pressure's going to be mounting. We've got 3 days break now, and like you say, it's a good time to get away, bond, air out all the grievances, figure out how they can start playing better basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really, you hit a spot on, CT. It's good. It couldn't have been a better time to go on a road trip and to get away from MSG for a minute. You know what I mean? And sit down and go on a road when you don't got a lot of family distractions. You don't got a lot of responsibility for us going places and doing things and events and all that. You just got time to be with all 15 of your team members and your coaches, and just contemplate about basketball. You can't even really look and see a family member right now almost. You know what I mean? Your family should be them guys, that's them 15 guys on that team. That's what you should be looking at the next 3 days and figuring this thing out. And I'm confident that we get back at it, man. But I just was so disappointed today, man. As somebody who's one of the most optimistic Knicks fans they are, just with the way they played today. I thought we was better than that today, and I don't think they showed what they was really made of today.
Yeah, I agree. And definitely some players need to be, given a talking to, figure things out, move some pieces around. Tibbs, gave a very interesting post game conference, threw some shade at RJ Barrett and he, not working on his shot. He's now shot 15 of 65 of his last 3-point attempts, and that's 23%. Divine, and he spoke about RJ's. Last year he'd always see him late in the gym when he was going through a slump, but he mentioned something like, RJ, the work helps you get out of these. So that was interesting, and he also spoke about some changes that, schematically and rotation wise, that he's going to be looking at. So they've shaken things up before. I've no doubt they'll shake things up again.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You know what? I think Thibodeau, just like us, he got a sense of frustration. You know what I mean? CT, he been just like we are. Because I'm quite sure he probably feel the way we feel. And he's he's a guy who be around his team all the time. He around them every day, 24/7. So if you think we feel this way, and he know they better than that, you know what I mean? And they playing like that, they got to make him feel like, man, you know what? Y'all got me looking bad out here. It ain't about him, but I'm just saying, you got me looking like I can't coach. You know what I mean? So it's disappointing, man, today. Like I said, they played hard the last couple of games, man, so I don't want to say like the sky is falling. The only thing was falling today, like I said earlier, with them threes in Madison Square Garden today. Them boys was raining threes all over the place today. You know what I mean? That's what was falling. Not so much the sky, but the sky ain't get there yet. But it's like we getting toward the clouds though, because they got to find a way to rectify this thing, man. And hopefully they will.
Yeah. And let's get into what's not working, right? So we spoke about it. Knicks Real Talk. Some of the moves just haven't panned out. So, and our identity, to me, the biggest things that stand out, Divine, our defense. We'll talk about some adjustments that you want to see as well, and what everyone wants to see. But plain and simply, Divine, our defense just isn't anywhere near it, where it was last season. That identity is down the drain. And what we thought we'd make up for on offense, that little bit of defense that we lost, hasn't been the case, right? We're just a poor defensive team. I'll call it like I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? And that's why I think we need to do something in that first unit. Because you know what? You don't got to stop it there, man. Or you don't got nobody who can bring the energy. And I'm not even ashamed to say this here, real talk. And I'm not comparing player by player. And I want to bring up this analysis, CT, so I can kind of make it coincide to the segment we talk about. Even if he's not good as him, what is Evan Mobley? A rookie.
A rookie, yep.
Jalen Suggs, a rookie. Green, a rookie. I know they're not playing on team that's supposed to win there, but what's wrong with getting starting this rookie at the point guard? I mean, what do you got to lose? I think they should take a chance. I really believe that. Or letting Deuce McBride start for the New York Knicks. And I just, only reason I say that because it ain't like he playing with a bunch of rookies. He playing with some veterans. So the pressure won't be on him to carry a team, because he playing against guys who've been around, Randall, RJ, or Fournier, or Burks, whatever the case may be. It's not like he coming into, like, that's what I love about what Cleveland did. Evan Mobley got Jared Allen there, been around. You know what I mean? You got Market in there. These guys been around, so they didn't throw the rookie young boy in there into a cuss like they did with Jalen Suggs down in Orlando. So the reason why I think we need to make a shakeup is put that young man there and give us some energy and youth in there, and see if he can change the dynamic of that defense. And because if he can put pressure on the ball up in front, up in the backcourt, maybe it might make Mitchell Noel a little bit more better at what they do, because now they got somebody who's knocking up, helping stop these guards from penetrating. So that's one move I like to see, CT, if Tibbs shake it up. And I don't have a problem with Fournier coming off the bench right now. And finding somebody who can play some solid D in there. We need some defense in New York right now, along with scoring and all that. But I do think we if we get the defense right, I think it might help us out.
Yep. Yeah, facts, right? I agree. And is there anything else that's not working that you're seeing, outside of the defense?
I don't think they in cohesion on the offense for sure. I just don't think that Alex Burks right now, from a facilitator standpoint, is not helping our point guard. Everything else I give him his flowers for. I think he's helping us on the defense when we playing it as a team. We know he's helping us on the scoring, but because he's so score first, his height helps us, but his facilitating and getting assists is not there, because I've just seen too many plays that he hasn't got the ball to a guy when I think they was wide open. I had a good chance to make a nice play. Other than that, and Julius Randle to me, he just got to get these guys going, man. And he playing hard as he can. He doing the best he can with what he got out there. It ain't his fault that they put what they put around him, but just on the fact of what he could do to try to ease the guys a little better. Just be more of a leader to me, and be careful with the turnovers and and stop trying to take it upon yourself. I get why he doing it because ain't nobody else doing it. I do get it, man. That's why I don't want to throw shade at Julius Randle, because you asking this man to do something that's hard to do when you got other guys ain't doing it. You asking this man to carry your team and the other guy ain't help. It can't even at least get on his shoulder with him. You know what I mean? You want Julius Randle to carry your team, you at least got to get on before he can carry you. They not on that. So I think that's what's, and Mitch, if the weight is bothering him, CT, if he's injured or something like that, he's not moving. I do think the weight might have hurt him, because he used to be more agile. He was more quicker off his feet. I mean, he's trying, man. I'm not here to throw shade at Mitchell Robinson either, but I think those guys got to get it together. But I think the 1 and the 3, I think we addressed it, but we didn't address it. Put it like that.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Right. And it's not throwing shade at no one not trying as well. It's just what's not working as well. Because you got to be realistic. Pretend that we are the president, the GM of this thing. How are we going to fix it? What's not working? And I agree. Julius Randle's not playing with the same. It just seems like the same, desire. The same fire. And we lost. We moved on from some of his close fellas. Reggie Bullock, he was close with. That was plain and simple. I said this on your show. That photo of Reggie Bullock getting that stop last season, where everyone was crowding around, hugging each other and all that, dapping each other up. That it just seems like that same sort of chemistry is missing now. It's gone. RJ Barrett, let's start with him. He's missing right now, missing in action. Tom Thibodeau threw some shade at him. He's shooting 23% from 3. Out of he's supposedly getting better at the 3-point shot. Got with a shooting coach, Drew Hanlon. I mean, where's all that gone? I won't be surprised to find out something's going on, because this is just he's basically fallen off the face of the earth. Divine, he looked real nice against the Pelicans. Since then, it's like he's had all his abilities taken.
Yeah, something going on with that, man. And another thing that I think, before I go on to RJ, I just wanted to piggyback off of what you said about Randall. Him and Alpha Payton, even when you say they're missing their friends, and that's why people don't understand what the connection that him and Alpha Payton have. But not only that, they played together in New Orleans. You know what I mean? So they had kind of like a chemistry there almost. You know what I mean? And so and the Mistom guys, I think I'm glad you said that, man. I think that was so important, that you got to also understand the guys that Julius Randle used to playing with that worked well with him is not there right now. You know what I mean? And RJ not giving us what he giving us, and Mitch not giving us what he's giving us. So it's always just making for a disaster at for us today. But just to to piggyback, like what you were talking about after that, man. We got to. I don't know, CT. It's kind of crazy, man. You know what? But we got to figure it out quick, fast, in a hurry. And our front office got to get in. Salute Canal, my man. But our front office need to get in there and get with Tibbs and sit down and talk about it. You know what I mean? Because that was mucky today.
Facts, but something's not right in the locker room too. 100% agree with that. I believe that. You bring in Kemba Walker, that's gone. He's on the bench, he's out of the rotation. So that's one addition out of the picture. The other one, Evan Fournier, hasn't quite worked out yet. I don't blame him entirely. That is what he is. He's an offensive player. He's not a good defender. The contract's not a terrible contract. It's tradable, but it hasn't been working out so far. But he doesn't see eye to eye with Randall. That's pretty clear as well. So what you got now, you got a locker room that's sort of got a third-year player in RJ Barrett, which is supposedly the Robin. You got Julius that's carrying the team still for all these downfalls, all these flaws. And then you got Evan Fournier, which is a brand new player that's not really meshing. And, you've got a stopgap, Alec Burks as the point guard, which looked nice against Trae Young. They did well exploiting that matchup. And then outside of that, Atlanta matchup, we've been exposed. And I agree with you, but we pull up the box score. Alec Burks, the thing that stood out to me, Divine, is 0 assists.
Right.
27 minutes. How do you give 0 assists?
That's what really had me tripping today was you the point guard, bro. You know what I mean? So Tibbs, we need to understand you put him in at the point guard. And I know we in a different league. Like I always say, it's like shoot first, but we don't mean just because you shoot first mean that you don't pass at all. Yep. You know what I mean? And I just think 11 no assists in 27 minutes is insane from a point guard perspective. And like I said, CT, I have noticed a couple of times, how Burks might miss a pass that he could have gave to somebody that he missed Obi a couple of times on some passes. He missed Randall and Mitchell Robinson on certain passes, but I think because his mentality that I'm a scorer. And I understand it though. I do understand it because his mentality that he's a scorer and he just go at the score. But I think if you're going to put him at the point guard, maybe during this road trip, he'll sit down. Alex Burks, you kind of need to look at your guys as well. But you asking a man to change his whole game up. You know what I mean? And that's pretty tough to do.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, J Dragon, check out our center's performance against the opposing center as well. So, yeah, we're getting on everyone that's underperforming. RJ Barrett's definitely top of the list. The centers as well. Mitchell Robinson, Nerlens Noel, pathetic. 19 minutes. Again, Nerlens Noel, minus 24. Minus 24 in 19 minutes. No block. 2 steals, an assist, 5 rebounds, and 5 points in 19 minutes. Now, Nerlens Noel and Mitchell Robinson, Divine, it's disappointing. Out of all the other issues we have a center that's not even able to, make an impact on the game at this current point.
Yeah. That's what's really disappointing to me. And it's not even about their offense. It's just due to the fact them dudes supposed to have been some of our defensive stoppers, in the front court. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be there to protect that rim and muck up things down there in the paint. And you know what though? And with the bad thing about it, they playing bad. But today, that backcourt just, Jokic is Jokic. That Joker do what he do. He don't only do it against Mitchell Robinson, he do it against the league. So I'm not even worried about that. That's a man MVP. He done did it against all the centers just about. But for y'all not to put in the 4 points and 5 points combined, and only 9 rebounds combined, 11 rebounds, excuse me. And that number should be one man alone, 9 and 11. You know what I mean? So yeah, they definitely we gotta do something with that situation because if our guards is not going to be able to hold them guys up in that backcourt, and that's why I said just bring McBride in there. Just bring him in here, man, because this is going to happen repeatedly with that defense in the front starting lineup is. So I think that was them 2 boys right there. But today, Julius, not only today, Mitchell Robinson, Noel, let Vucevic do the same thing. You know what I mean? And y'all guys got to find a soul search and get out there and play some defense on that perimeter. But if you know, to me, CT, the key is they don't never be up on the guy. They wait till the guy get the ball and rather know you should be always be in your man's face. And I think that's what I think what I want. That's why I want McBride there so bad. I know that man will be up in your man's face. He ain't gonna be sitting back like 2 feet off you. That dude gonna be in there.
Yeah, facts. And J Dragon, I too expected Mitch to be better, but he's regressed. Sherwin M as well. Yeah, you can't protect the rim. Yeah, when the guards are bad defensively. Yeah, right. I agree.
Right.
I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. The bigs are under a lot of pressure. But that is part of a solution we'll propose. We need better perimeter defense. From in terms of before we make a move, we can only go with what we've got. And Divine suggests Deuce McBride. I think at least he's going to come into the bench rotation. I feel like D Rose might be a solution that they might elevate Divine into the starting lineup. Tibbs always goes, this isn't what I'm proposing. I just think this is what they will do. Their next move. Tibbs loves D Rose. If the point guard thing doesn't work out with Alec Burks, they'll force D Rose into that starting unit. And then they might put Quickly and McBride on the bench. At least Deuce gets his feet wet a little bit on the bench rather than just come into the starting unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? I definitely agree with that. Would be the optimal way to go to CT. It really would do it by experience and all that. But I don't think D Rose' defense is just as good as Alex Burks.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That's the only reason I want McBride in there is for that reason. If our offense is not good enough to get out to high scoring first quarters, then we got to have people in there who are not going to allow the other team to get off the high scoring first quarters. You know what I mean? I know it makes sense from a logical standpoint to start D Rose. I do. I know that would be the way to go. But I also think, like I said, you look at like guys in the league who come in their rookie year right now starting on teams. And it might, but I think it's just because of the way our defense is. Because you're going to ask Derrick Rose to guard the best defender, the best offense point guard every night, and then it's going to wear him down on the offense part. Because he's going to be busy chasing the guy who's good, trying to put all his energy into stopping this guy. Then I don't know how that might affect his offense. But I know somebody like Deuce McBride, we're not going to depend on his offense. We're not going to have to depend on him. But I know if he open, he'd knock down some threes. But I know one thing we can depend on with him, and that's just my humble opinion, that we can depend on his defense. And right now we are losing basketball games on the defense, and we lost to Brooklyn 116, whatever. We lost to Chicago 1-8. It wasn't the offense. The offense was bad today per se. But I think our defense is just struggling so much, man. I just think that between Kemba Walker, Alex Burks, and Derrick Rose, I guess we will have to try that. We tried two of them right now, and I like Burks' defense. I don't think Burks is not a slouch on D. He's playing much better defense this year, but I'm just concerned with his facilitating. That's the only problem I have with him, pretty much. So I guess you're right, man. It would be D Rose, CT. I guess we start D Rose, but I think either way I go, that team got to get better defensively. So if D Rose is a starter, you got to give McBride some shine, bro, because he can play defense. And I think they got to do something like that.
Yeah, I'm with McBride getting minutes, and I'm with Grimes getting more minutes. Grimes, McBride, they should be mainstays in the rotation moving forward. And I like the Fishers suggestion. Shout out. Gear Evan towards a six-man of the year role, and then his defense kills any momentum creation for us in the starting lineup. But we both know, it's hard to bench a $19 million signing. This is Leon Rose's mess, and he's got to fix this up basically. And I think Evan Fournier, at 29 years old, should be sort of like a bench guy at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what? To me, I don't think that because you put him on a bench that don't mean he can't get starter minutes. And I always say that. I think he still can get the minutes, but I think we need some defense guys in there some 3-and-D guys, a la Reggie Bullock, though he's not here, but somebody like that who also slow their offense down until we get into a rhythm. I just seem like today, like, you know what, you can't let that kid what's that, Jai or whatever his name? I can't pronounce his name right, but go off like that.
Najee.
You can't. Come on. So I think you look at all our last games. We've been our first quarters defensively have been terrible. We've given up 30 points a quarter. We had never won in New York like that, man. So that's why I said we got offense with Randall. We supposedly have offense with RJ, and you're gonna get. I think if it's Alex Burks now, or you move Fournier or whatever, let's say Alex Burks is the starting 3 or 2, you still got the offense, but then you also need that defender. So you only got one good defender in that whole. We are not going to win a basketball game with one good defender in that team in the starting lineup, and that's why I think we need to find a way to bring a defender in there. And right now, I think the best defender on the team is McBride. So I don't care if you put Evan Fournier to the bench. At least let him start the game on the bench. And let Alex Burks go there and bring McBride in. Do it for 2 or 3 games. And if the young man don't got it, you can always snatch him out. You can always take him out. But hey, it beats what the hell we don't went through with Kemba Walker and Alex Burks on the defense right now. So I think we should try it. That's the only reason I'm willing to try it. That's all.
Facts. Yeah, I'd take a point guard that doesn't score to just neutralize the other team's guard any day of the week.
Facts.
But I just don't think Deuce will go from not playing to the starting unit that quick. I think that the best compromise is putting Deuce in the bench.
Okay.
And then in Tibbs's eyes, he'd die for D Rose. So I think if the Burks thing doesn't work out for a few more games, I think they're just going to go to hell with this. D Rose start, IQ, you handle the backup. With Deuce, Grimes, even Kevin Knox. Let's talk about Kevin Knox a little bit. The Kevin Knox situation. He got some minutes. I know he can shoot the three divine. Would you be open to seeing some Kevin Knox get showcased?
At this point, man, I think they're gonna have to, because you're gonna want to make sure that people see that he still got he can play. He could play. That way they showcase and they can see that the man still got a little three ball in him. He got a game, but they don't know if you don't see him. So yeah, I don't have no problem with that. If they do whatever they got to do to get the thing right down there, but we can nickel and dime all the stuff that's going on. And like I said, and because of today's game, that's where I'm at. I'm just disappointed from today's game. I'm not disappointed about the season at all. I mean, that happened. I'm just disappointed the way they played today. They when you got a team who don't show no fight and grit, and we supposed to be the New York Knicks, one of the grittiest cities or grittiest places to go play basketball in the world, and your team is not being gritty right along with it. That's just not a good look to me. And then today was one of them things where but Knox, I think what's going to happen with that is they're going to play him. If they do play him, they're going to play him to move him. Or if they don't move, Knox won't be on the Knicks next year. I can guarantee you that. You know what I mean? So I think they're going to have to find a way to get him, Kemba, and we got to see how that thing goes. Is he going to say, you know what, it wasn't Kemba or Kemba? I might, he might put Kemba back in there. I don't know what he's going to do right there now, but this is a good time to go on a 3-day road trip, like we said, but and figure this thing out, CT. But Knox, I don't know. You know what I mean? I have no idea about why they're not playing him. I think they should. I don't think, because I like Knox, what he could do with the basketball. Granted, he's not no major player, but I like Knox. I always liked the Knox. Now, I think that, but I think that he's not a Tibbs type of player. And that's the only reason I think he's still on that bench like that, because he shoots the three ball better than Obi, and career-wise, he and I'm not saying he's better than Obi. I'm saying from that perspective, but 3-point shooting, he can shoot the ball better than Obi right now. But he don't got the motor Obi got, I don't think, and I don't think he got the hustle that Obi has. So it's hard to say about that. But I wouldn't try anything right now, to be honest. Yeah,
one thing he can shoot better than almost anyone on this. I feel confident when Kevin Knox shoots an open three. I can't say that for many other dudes. Right now I'm just trying to find players with one solid skill set that can just execute that. Right now I'm just seeing even a scorer like Fournier. I'm not that confident. He's taken a lot of off balance threes. He's not squaring up to the basket. And salute Jonathan, salute chat. As far as the front office goes, the garden is filled. The money is still rolling in. Nothing to worry about. And let's hope that's not the case. But we know Tibbs really, really wants to win. And if he's close to Leon Rose, Divine, he's going to have, some hard conversations, because he, like you said, he's the one dealing with this every single night. And we lost our identity last season from last season right now. We hoped we'd pick it up with scoring, but that hasn't been the case. So, the trade season's coming soon. What do you think is going to play out with Tom Thibodeau and Leon? You confident they're going to get on the same page?
You know what, CT, knowing that Tibbs and Leon Rose go back a long way, you know what I mean? And knowing that, I think Leon Rose trusts Tibbs, because Tibbs, whether we say he succeeded or failed, he was president of a basketball operation one time. So I'm quite sure he leaned into him for a lot of knowledge, you know what I mean, about the game. And that's why he brought back Scott Perry. But it might not be Tibbs. It might not be Tibbs and Leon Rose. It could be between Tibbs, Leon Rose, and Scott Perry in the middle. You know what I mean? It might be, Tibbs probably prefer going straight to Leon Rose, but he got to go through Scott Perry sometimes, because he is the GM. Forgot what we think. He is the GM of the Knicks basketball operations, and he make trades. He agree to trades. He helped facilitate trades of free agents, rookies. Scott Perry does all that as well. So I don't know if it's one of them things where he got to go through Scott Perry to get the Leon Rose or vice versa, but he has a say in what goes on there. He really does. And so them three might need to sit down and say, you know what? And I remember Tibbs saying it one time. He said we beat him. We all don't agree to everything. I remember saying that. I hear that out of his mouth one time. He's like, listen, we all don't agree to everything, and when we in a meeting and everything, but we make it work. And I remember him saying that clear as day. And then he right though. Everybody, because like I said, them not Tibbs type of players. They're not his type of players. You know what I mean? And so Tibbs might be like, okay, I got to go along with it because them the GM and the president pulling the punches. So whatever they give me, I'm gonna have to make it work. And I really had to be what's going on right now. Whatever they decide to bring down there, he might have input in it, but how much input does he really have with personnel decision when it comes to bringing it to the team? I know he does with the rookies. I know he wanted McBride. I know he wanted Grimes. They wanted them guys. But, and I'm hoping they all on the same accord, but, you just never know. You never know.
Yep. Yeah. I just want them to find some sort of in-between, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we said on Knicks Real Talk tonight, the moves that were made weren't Tibbs players. Leon Rose, Scott Perry made those moves, right? So if they didn't get anything out of last season to learn that we're a defensive identity and they're only to go away from that, that concerns me. You know what I mean? That concerns me. Kemba Walker, one of the worst defenders in the league. I have a feeling that was a backup plan. So I'm not going to say that was, that was a move that they targeted. But the Evan Fournier thing, that was the Scott Perry move, I feel. They wanted him at the trade deadline last season. They got their man, and it's just not working out right now. Everybody needs to be held accountable from top to bottom. There's ways the coaching can be better. To the Fisher's point, in terms of offensive sets, I feel like it's a bit too much freestyling. When we're struggling out of timeouts and that, run a couple decent sets, just to help you get an easy bucket. And I think Tibbs is struggling. He's not having the best year. The players are struggling, and the front office has struggled. So to me, no one's off the hook. It's a top to bottom thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? And I think we're having another thing that's important because we were successful last year, and it worked. And you know what? Because just like the Atlanta Hawks and the Knicks and them all last year. Remember where they were a year before that? The Atlanta Hawks and the Knicks. Remember what both of them teams were a year before last year? They was bottom dwellers. You know what I mean? Then the next year, because of the situation with the NBA, they catch lightning in a bottle. We win 41 games. They go to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what I mean? And that was the way the NBA was last year. But this year, teams got better, more talented. We supposedly should have got better. We thought we was getting better anyway. You know what I mean? We made some moves to bolster the team, but I think the move that we did, we thought was working one way, and it went counterproductive against us. We thought we were going to bring in more offense because we was kind of weak in offense last year at the bottom of the barrel in the East, in the NBA period, to make our team better offensively. And we knew we would lose a little bit defensively, but I did not think it would be both. We lost defensively, and our offense is not playing that good. So, instead of trying to kill two birds with one stone, we killed both of the birds with one stone. Our defense got bad, and our offense it's not doing too much different than last year because them cats are not even bringing it. So it's just a tough situation right now, and I don't think this is the end all be all. I think we can get better at this, man. But how much better can we get? And if somebody like me, who optimistic as I am, and love to try to bring all the positivity out of a team that I can, because that's just the way I think in life. But at the same time, reality sets in, and right now, reality setting in Madison Square Garden that the New York Knicks defense is not that good, and we got players who are not doing what they're supposed to do, and you got to set that.
Yeah, real talk. And not only that, but there is some ways we can get better anyway. That's on our roster. First, start with that. Look at trades, look at things when they come up. But we can certainly manufacture better units, I think, than what we've been playing. If guys aren't performing, sit them down. To me, let your minutes drop. You can't be going through a slump for this long and have your minutes like they are. And I'll bring the box score back up. We'll talk about, Mitchell Robinson, Nerlens Noel, right? Go a little bit smaller. with these guys struggling as well. And Emmanuel Quickly, a very inconsistent player at the minute. Quentin Grimes gives you solid D. I think his minutes need to go up, Divine. We saw what the last quarter looked like when Quentin Grimes, the guys finally started to play some D.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's my whole point. Like I said, just because he's a rookie don't mean he can't contribute. We got a lot of rookies in the NBA contributing right now on teams, and they doing pretty well. So I wouldn't just I wouldn't like last year. You let Quickly get his shine last year. You let Obi get his shine last year. They was rookies, and I think right now, by the way this team is playing, I think you should give them guys the same treatment until this thing get better. Because if the other guy's not doing it, how worse can they do? You know what I'm saying, CT? How worse can these guys be compared to what these guys who we paid all this money is doing? I don't think Deuce would be as bad as the way our other point guards was playing, not from one side of the ball anyway. And I don't think Grimes would be as bad as RJ and what you call him playing right now, especially on that other side of the ball. So and that's the side of the ball where we struggling at. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with sometimes you gotta shake things up to make people see. Like to me, how would you feel if you the man, right? And they bringing a young man to take your spot. Either you take that as I better get my shit together, or you just say you ain't really ready for this. If them guys coming in and take their spot and they don't rebound and say, you ain't letting this man come in front of me, but show and prove then. And if they don't show and prove, then you ain't the guy that need to be on this team. So that's why I think Tibbs got to just, even if he do it for a game or two, a game or three, like even today, I would have had no problem today, CT, real quick. And if he would have took that whole starting unit out today and just brought in all the young guys, just to prove a point. Just to prove a point. If y'all ain't gonna get out there and bust your butt and play defense and go and play Knicks basketball, I'll put all these young boys up in here. That's what I would have did.
Yep. Yeah, straight facts, right? And welcome Soulfinger number 12. Salute.
Soulfinger.
Shout out, fellas. Salute CT. Salute Divine. Salute to the chat. Still frustrated, like everybody else. Yeah. As I said earlier today. And we're not happy. Granted, we still got a better record than we had last year, but got to be some solutions, fellas. We got to have some solutions to these problems, and the front office got to get on it. If you want to say it's 2 weeks, I say 11 days and counting to a certain magical day opens up, and maybe some moves in that made. Don't know how soon, or how long it's going to take, but I do believe there are going to be some moves.
Yeah, it's going to be active, fellas, because ESPN's just dropping articles left, right, and center tonight about 5 big trades to look for. All the players that are eligible to be traded on December 15. They're running with it fully. And the fact that the East is ultra competitive, the West you got 2 juggernauts up top. I think it's going to be real active, Divine. Even from the get-go, December 15, we'll start seeing that there's a lot of teams that are behind the 8 ball, and they probably want to make some moves real quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, man. I think we got to do it. I just don't see Kemba Walker lasting past the 15 if you're not going to play him. There's no way you set Kemba Walker on that bench to the trading deadline. That would be asinine. You know what I mean? So so figure said 11 days from now, if Kemba Walker is not going to be part of this team, and cut your losses, and by the 15th, you have to deal them. I think that's a bad look for Kemba Walker to sit on that team the whole half of the season almost until the trading deadline just to move him.
This is the bad thing about it, though, Devon. This is the bad thing about it, Devon, is when Tibbs said he's out of the rotation, right, and pulling him out. So if you throw him back out there, it's bad.
Yeah.
It looks bad to put him back in. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of he put himself in a box. I mean, this is a crazy conundrum we're in. And I've never seen anything in my time of being a Knicks fan like this. In a lot of ways, organization-wise, things are really good in some aspects, but what the product on the floor right now is really bad. And I know we're still enough time to turn it around, but after the season we had, we should have been building on it, not
We should have been progressing, not regressing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
we look like
Say
we
that
look like
again.
that. Man, we did. We straight regressed. We look like that one squad. I mean, not even the squad. The squad when they brought in all the power forwards. You know, we can go back to the Jared Jeffrey
Yeah,
days. You know,
Bobby Portis and Mook Morris and
man, that was crazy having all those forwards. So then, you know, it's really, and this is another thing with our organization. Before we had a system, we had a problem. We had too many shooting guards. Remember that we had too many shooting guards, and we had too many power forwards. Now, but the main thing we have yet to really address is still is that small is a point guard, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we got Deuce, but got to get Deuce on the floor. And then, you know, you got Knox. And a lot of people want to say, hey, play Knox, play Knox. You know, he's been there 4 years. And truth be told, Knox isn't a Tibbs guy. And with the changing of the guard as we've had, you know, he's fallen to the wayside. Because look at Frank. You know, we got Frank up out of here. And people thought Frank would stick because he's a defensive player. Frank had a lot of injuries as well. He never developed. You know, and the best ability is availability. But right now with the team, the way they're playing, without as G Money said earlier, without pride and passion, you know, this is really wild. It's really wild. So I'm not gonna come on and bash and everything because I like to be positive, but man, we got to make some kind of move. I don't like throwing the T word out there, the trade word. But you know, I know the front office said they didn't want to they looked at trades last. This is a situation now that you may have to start looking at it trades first.
yeah,
And also look at what we got in the G League. You know,
we got lots of the Solfinger and Divine. We got lots of assets. That's why I think we can fix this thing. We got, you know, to the Fisher's point, you know, he'd pay a premium for, you know, for certain players, you know, Fox, Halliburton, Davion, and anyone we want, we can afford it. You know, we can throw RJ's name out there, Divine. We can throw Mitch's name out there. We've got picks. So whoever they want, you know, the pressure's on them to execute it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. You know what, that for me, here's another thing, and I just want to go back to this. I think it's so important. Y'all guys brought up Davion Mitchell and all these guys. Them dudes is playing. And I think Deuce McBride could be just as good as any of them dudes. So
I'm with you.
Yeah, if they playing on if Davion Mitchell playing in Sacramento, Evan Mobley playing in Cleveland, like I said, Green playing in Houston. I know them not, but Cleveland is winning. I'm not saying that Deuce McBride is Evan Mobley by no means, but I'm saying that they are rookies. So I don't have a problem giving a rookie like Bruce McBride a chance because them cats are making an impact on their team. I think that because of our defense is so suspect right now, we need a defender in that starting lineup on that point guard position. Who's the best defender the Knicks can put out there on the point guard right now to help them for the next couple of games? They should throw him out there. And if it's Deuce McBride, the best defender out there on the defense team right now, on the Knicks whole 15 squad, then they should put him out there because we need somebody at basketball. This is crazy. Bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then you know, a lot like, you know, see you got Sherwin M's post with about John Wall, because that name's been associated with us a lot, coming up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
At one time, I loved me some John Wall because at one time he was considered one of the best point guard in the league.
Facts.
But man, it's and he wants to play. He does want to play. He would be an upgrade, but that contract still though, he still owed a lot of money. But my problem, this is the only problem I have with that. We're still repeating past history, bringing in retread point guards. That's the only knock. I would rather us, you know what, holler at some of these teams like OKC got a glutton of young point guards. Sacramento, hey, you know, a lot of people talking about De'Aaron Fox. You know, he may not be a great shooter, but you know, he's young. He can work. He can get it. He can get it in. He's something. When they drafted Mitchell, I thought we were actually going to get Mitchell. I was like, he's right there. Get Mitchell. And then we didn't get him. We went another direction. So that surprised me because you had a feasible young point guard there. I just
I just think that like Divine's right. You know, we got young fellas. Let's start with trying them out first.
Yeah,
we
stay in
got
house.
plenty of time before the trade deadline. And Deuce McBride, if he's putting up that kind of numbers in the G League, he can surely give us some rotational minutes. You know, and get back. Let's get back to our identity. What'll let me know is if Tibbs has more pull, if Deuce starts playing, because we know Deuce was a Tibbs guy. So if Deuce somehow creeps up and gets in now, then we know Tibbs got more pull. You know, Divine, because he was a part of him getting selected. And the fact that maybe they did throw him down in the G League because they were concerned, they want to get him some reps to get him ready.
Some folk were looking at that as like, man, they sent him to the G League like it's a demotion. I think they're just getting him lathered up, getting him ready to bring him in. That's just my opinion, the way I look at it. Because I'm gonna tell you, his sample size is small. I agree, it's like a teaspoon size. But when I saw him get in that Phoenix game and he got up on Booker and he ripped Booker, I know that, hey, look, you can look at it as a reach, as a stretch or whatever, but to me, that's a positive thing. That's something I want to see. The young fella didn't back down. For him to rip one of the best scorers, one of the assassin on the court like he did, and then it made me think about what are the main highlights we always saw about Deuce in college when he ripped the #1 draft pick, when he ripped him. So Deuce will play the defense, and I'm with you, Divine. I think we should give him a shot. You may not want to put him in the starting lineup, put him in with the bench. Let him run with the bench boys, with the bench mob. Mob deep. But he needs to be on the court along with Grimes. Let those two young guys that defense, because the defense on our guards is one of the things that's been killing this team. It's been murdering us, man. That's the bad part.
Yep. You know what? And the reason why I'm so, and you know what, and I wasn't this keen on starting. Remember, y'all guys know me. I was like, they situational players. They probably don't even crack the rotation. You know,
I was with you on that too. I was with you with that.
Yeah, but at the same time, now that I've seen this young man play more in the G League, I've seen them play against, and he, like you said, it's a sample size. When I seen them then block Chris Paul shot, block Booker down for a minute, take that ball and run down court and get an and one. Let me ask you a question. If you look at our whole roster, how many point guards we got on that roster can defend like that young man?
None of them. IQ is the best point. IQ, and the thing is IQ is a combo guard. I know they were looking at putting him in at point, but IQ right now is the best defending guard we got on the right now that's playing. Alex Burks is next, and shout out to my man, Ron Cleveland. He said this, and a lot of other folks said this. Shout out for real Knicks fan Ron and the other Ron. If we have to depend on Alex Burks as our point guard, our season is done.
Yep.
Nothing against Alex Burks, but our season is done. That's not good.
0 assists today.
Right.
Yeah.
0 assists.
And like I said, you know, and this is the thing. I'm not looking at just as of today when it came to IQ or overall, you know, it wasn't just IQ. The whole squad, man. The whole squad defense was null and void, man.
Yep.
That's ridiculous, man. To me, like I said, I couldn't believe, I can't understand how our team is letting no-name guys, cats that come off the 99-cent store, Dollar General, come in and bust your head and get career numbers, man. It makes no sense.
No heart. Yeah.
None.
CT. So go ahead and say, I thought you were fiending. I apologize for that guy, bro.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, just like you said, get the young guys in there.
Yep. Hey, CT, will CT put up the Bosco Soul finger in chat? Look at this. Look at that. Minus. The whole team stunk it up today. Other than Grimes, Obi had a +2 in Grimes. Everybody on that team was a minus. Quickly -18. Noel -24. RJ -17. Burks -10. I mean, that's atrocious, bro.
Yeah, and you look at Obi +2.
+2.
Obi and Grimes, like you said, that's
look at
Obi,
the wire to wire. we couldn't even win one quarter on our home floor. Normally we're good for winning one quarter, but no run, no heart.
And by then it was over mentally. 30, 30, 32. The only reason they scored 21 in the first quarter because they emptied it. And Jokic didn't even play the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah, and like you said, you can't even give us the fourth quarter because that was garbage time. They put their bench in, and the sad thing about when they emptied the bench, their bench was still killing us.
Same thing against against Chicago. 30 points a quarter we was giving up. 30 a quarter. And the last 6, 7, 8 quarter, we done gave up like 6 or 7 30-point quarters. That ain't New York Knicks basketball. Come on, man. That's crazy.
Not at all. And that's why we got to get back to the players that we have that resemble some of the identity. Quentin Grimes plays hard, can hit the three. He just pulls up. Deuce McBride as well. I got no problem putting Fournier on the bench because that may signal that, hey, we're going to trade him anyway. Let's just start to learn life without him in the starting unit. It's more difficult to trade a starter and get used to the cohesion. But if you bench Fournier now, then you can already start to sort of get ahead of it. Get ahead of the curve, Divine.
Yep, absolutely. I just think it's the right thing to do. It's better to do it now and then do it later, because you could correct one thing when you do it early. You got enough time to correct it. See, that's one thing I'm disappointed, but I'm not off the train because see, the one thing about the Knicks, what they doing right now, they disappointing early. Better early than late, and they do have 59 games to try to get this thing together. Opposed to they being bad at the end of the season, they don't have time to correct it. They do have time to correct it, so I'm glad they're going through what they're going through now. But I just think that today, man, when I seen that box score today, either that team did not come to play just because it was today, or something's going on. Because you don't come to work like that, CT. You said it earlier. Your man just expecting you to go out there and help facilitate this truck or load this truck and get 30 cartons off the truck in 5 minutes. You get one carton off. That's a problem. You know what I mean? A problem. So.
I think it could be something that we just don't see. I mean, we got a taste of the last game when we saw Randall yelling at Fournier. I think it could be something in the locker room because look at it like this, and just the whole Kemba bringing him in, and they made the push for Kemba the coming home tour and all like that, and had him modeling the new jerseys, the city jersey, and it's kind of like you put Randall on the backside, on the back burner. So I think that could be causing problems for Randall, just saying that, he may not come out and say it, but you can see it through his play and with the attitude. Not to mention, the team is still, when it comes to the refs and all this other stuff, but that's neither here nor there. You got to play through the whistle. You got to be mentally tough. But I think it could be something going on behind the scenes in that locker room. And I have read before that Evan Fournier can be a bit of a headache in the locker room.
Okay. I haven't heard that, but yeah, he's definitely he's an open guy in press conferences. He's probably open with calling people out.
Yeah,
which is
I
ironic.
think it was. I read it in Bleacher Report a while ago because it was an article on Bleacher Report. I'm gonna try to see if I can find it before, but I think what it is the thing is it just don't gel.
Yep. Hey, CT, real quick. I just want to piggyback off something Soulfinger said, because I thought about the same thing Soulfinger when it happened. I'm like, Randall got to be pissed he wasn't the spokesperson for that jersey. I thought about that like 3 weeks ago. So I'm like, man, hold up. You putting Kemba Walker, let him be. Julius Randle is the face of your franchise right now. He's the franchise dude. So, Kemba Walker coming here and he getting a lot of that shine.
Facts.
He's getting a lot of shine. And I'm glad you brought that up, Sophie, because I kind of thought about that like 3 weeks ago. I'm like, man, like why Julius Randle not being the one who's being a model in that jersey? So when Julius Randle like even when we went to the Garden that day, the first game of the season, and on the minutes you see the big picture of Kemba Walker and all that, I know Julius Randle probably was like, man, so I can understand, I can see that happening. Sophie, I'm glad you brought that up because I do think that that's possible that he might have felt some type of way about that. Like, listen, man, y'all made me the franchise player. You gave me the bag. I took the bag. I took a cut of my bag to be this dude. You bring these cats in here, and I was like, that wasn't a good look to me anyway.
Yeah,
it was a bad look, man.
Yeah, real quick, Solfing. I think that was a Steve Stout kind of move. Probably, I'm not surprised that
Yeah,
Steve Stout's
yeah.
that marketing dude who called out Mike Miller
Oh
on
yeah,
TV
yeah.
before.
He
It was a
he was on.
bad PR move.
I saw that on. I watched that episode on First Take when he did that, and then
Mm-hmm.
he got called on the carpet to the front office behind it, and they told him to basically shut it up.
Right. You don't do that. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a
And,
lot of interesting, man. What's going on down there, man? Like I said, we don't see it, but after that benching of Kemba Walker at CT, I thought it was like, okay, now you done took him out the rotation. You still lost 3 games in a row. Kemba Walker got to be like, listen, dude, y'all bench me and y'all still ain't winning. So
Well, that's what I said remember I said to you, could they have handled it better? Now I ain't got no problem with making the move. The thing is, I just don't know about coming in a press conference and saying he's out of the rotation. Just don't play him for a couple games. They could have faked a Kemba Walker knee injury for 3 games, see what it looked like without telling the whole world, without ostracizing a 4-time All-Star. Now, we all know he wasn't helping the team, but you didn't need to come out and say he's out of the rotation now. To me, that's one part that makes him look silly now. In a way, like today, you could have thrown him in when the game was dead. Just throw Kemba out there, at least. But at the end of the day, it would be counterproductive. So I'm not mad at it. I want this train, like what we're all thinking with Deuce McBride, Quentin Grimes. Let's get on that train now. Let these young kings play if they're part of the New York Knicks' future. Before we make a big move, let the guys that are on this roster, like you said, earning their paycheck, let them play. The blue collar guys that'll come in and play. These dudes that already got paid their bag. Keep them around for a while and then see you later. But whoever's ready to play hard, that last 8 minutes of the game was enjoyable to watch because we started to play proper D. We started to get up guys, and we frustrated them a little bit. And I'm like, why don't we just play that way the whole time?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. I think we got to do something, and I do think that even because if you play the young guys right now, the only thing it's going to do is make them get more better and better. And then when you do shuffle this thing up, and you might have to bring in a piece or two to get acclimated to this team, at least you could depend on them guys still already having played the games, and they got the confidence, and then them got the experience. But couldn't you imagine Deuce McBride playing until February or something hypothetically, or playing through the month of December? All that's going to do is make him a better player. It's going to make him a better player. It's giving him experience. So you know what? God forbid something don't happen and we get to the playoffs and somebody go down. He done played enough games to have confidence to go out there and perform. You know what I mean? So I think you got to start throwing them cats out there now. We done had a sample size of 22 games. I'm not jumping off shit by any means, but I just think that what I seen today, the body language was not fun, matinee or no matinee. That was depressing, bro. You don't let nobody do that to you. If you got a heart, and if you a dog, and another dog barking at you, you bark back at them. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. You know what I mean? If somebody barking at you, you bark back at them. Them cats didn't even bark today.
no, they didn't.
They
They look like
Mhm.
they look like They look like Courage the Cowardly Dog. The way they ran off the court, man. It made no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Word.
So that to me that means that it's guys there that maybe they're not built for this. It is fine. It's understandable. Everybody make mistakes, and nobody's perfect. Leon not perfect. Scott Perry not perfect. Tibbs is not perfect. And the player's not perfect. But when you see a problem, you got to try to just own up to it. Say, you know what, we made a mistake. We made a mistake, and just move on, CT. And to me, they just need to correct the mistake some way by letting them guys get some burn to try to get a little rhythm. And then maybe when they catch fire, the other guys, then we'd be all right. But until then, right now, I just think that it's a little problem right now for me.
I was thinking about the whole thing with Kimbo, and they're still losing. And this is just me and my messed up way of thinking or imagination. I started thinking of the 5 heartbeats. And what I mean by that is when Eddie Kane came up, he said, "You'll never be nothing without me."
Mm-hmm.
And they were out there. You miss Eddie Kane. So it was kind of like that effect. Not that Kimba had that kind of effect, but that's what came to mind. And I say that because we're still losing without Kimba on the court. And the defense is still, Burks is locked
trash.
has helped a lot, but he's helped a lot, but it is trash. I would rather have Burks back in the role where he's a Swiss Army knife, and you can come back to a Burks in a third and fourth quarter, and he can get you some buckets instead of him having to be the distributor. I mean, granted, yeah, he can put up the numbers, and yeah, he ran point when he was in Utah. He did that stuff before, but for us, he needs to be that role player. He's kind of like a low-key microwave. Benny Microwave Johnson for us in some aspects, man.
Right.
It's not a good look and a good fit. So we need to I don't want to say trade, but we need to start exploring the trade route, man. Really, I'm with you with that CT and Devon. I think we should look at the trade route. We got enough things in the chest. We got trade pieces. We're not going to use, I mean, I can't even say that because I didn't think we are going to draft that many rookies, and they proved me into a liar. So I'm going to leave that alone. We'll say they'll never use all those trade pieces.
Yeah, I just think, go ahead.
No, CT. I just was agreeing with Soulfinger.
Yeah, I just think the front office is known they got a lot of pressure on them, and maybe they do a scapegoat move and they just let Scott Perry go to pair up with Chauncey Billups in Portland. That could be a nice scapegoat move, and just fill it with Allen Houston or someone, and say we're gonna. Because I asked the chat, and you guys, how much influence do you think Perry has in player acquisitions? We got Fournier in, we got Kemba. He is the GM technically, so. What kind of influence do you think he's had, Divine? I know there's a president, there's Worldwide West, people say has a lot of control, but is Scott Perry just a dude who takes phone calls and does paperwork, or does he have a real voice in the room?
He definitely had a real voice because they wouldn't have brought him back. If Scott Perry wasn't that important to the Knicks organization, they wouldn't have brought him back. They wouldn't even read up his contract. They could have just let him walk. Scott Perry did some good things for the Knicks, man. Okay, we might not agree to his personnel moves, but you look at where we at before Leon Rose came in. Scott Perry got us 6 draft picks, got us all this flexibility. He got rid of Carmelo, bought in Mitchell Robinson, saved a ton of money with Enes Kanter and them. He sent out Porzingis and got us all that, saved us all that capital. You got to give him flowers for the good things he did. I think maybe him getting too personal with the guy that he drafted might be an issue. With some of the guys that could he bring back players that he once had it. Now I understand why he did it. Because listen, he came to New York and he built a lot of character to that. He brought a culture to that organization. He wanted a guy to be respectful, not out in the media being negative and all that stuff, not getting in trouble, blah, 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 coming to the facility, working hard every day, putting 2 or 3 days in. They were doing that before Tibbs got there. Scott Perry had Frank and all them guys in the gym like that all the time. But I think he's important because they wouldn't have brought him back. I just don't think you bring a man back, give him a extended contract, just to have him around as a scapegoat or somebody just He made a lot of decisions, and I think that's the problem to me. I think it might be he bringing in players, but it's not the players Tibbs want. Leon Rose is just signing off on everything. You know what, Leon? I mean, he was never a president. He was an agent. He wasn't a player. He wasn't like he was a president of basketball operates for years in the NBA. This is last year was his first year. He never was a president of basketball operations. So that's why he hired him back to help him facilitate that transition for him. He knew Scott Perry know the business, and I think he had a lot to say with that stuff. Because I think he the one bought Fournier in here. I think he bought Alfred Payton in here because them Orlando dudes. You know what I mean? I think he was bringing players who he think that he could trust, he got a rapport with to make his transition easy. But I think right now, this year it wasn't good. I don't think Fournier was a good move. The only reason I say that, CT, and I pass it to you guys, you could have kept Reggie Bullock and Alex Burks for the price you gave Fournier.
Yeah, it was a double up.
A double up. Yeah, you could have kept both of them players. And instead of bringing them 40 and maybe went another route, so like y'all said, maybe upgraded the point guard with that money, but brought back Alex Burks and Reggie Bullock and upgraded your point guard spot and took it from there. So I think he had a lot to do with the organization. Let's not get it twisted. That cat got connected. I just think that this time, this move right here seemed like it just didn't work right now.
Yep. Yeah, Solfinger, I'll just quickly say I agree with what Jay Boogie said in terms of they fumbled the bag. Essentially, I think they felt cute. It was the first time they had a little bit of money to spend, and they thought, let's outbid Boston bring Fournier here, who does help us from what we needed in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think they thought about it. They thought about it hard enough. To Divine's point, it was a double up.
I agree. I really agree. And this is another thing I'm thinking about. Scott Perry looked good because of the moves and missteps that Steve Mills made. So he came out looking really better, if you think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And with this whole thing, with the bag, they fumbled the bag. They dropped it because we could have brought, with the money we gave Fournier, we could have brought back Reggie Bullock as well, because the players we brought in are not tip type players.
Right.
For one, we sacrificed defense for some offense, but I didn't think we were going to take a drop that far back. Now, check this out. Think about it. There are players that re-signed that we didn't even make a move on.
Yeah,
I mean, think about that. Norman Powell is a Tibbs type player.
Patty Mills.
Patty Mills. Like I said, I'm gonna say it again. And you guys hear me. I've been screaming
Oubre.
Kelly Oubre for the longest. He fits a need that week for us. You got, even though Chicago and Miami did the tampering. Look, I can't be mad at that front. I'm not mad at them. Honest to God, I'm not mad at them, because you know what? That front office is trying. There was that old saying: if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Well, they were trying, and they gave up. They lost second round. I mean, granted, the penalty was a slap on the wrist. Granted, it'd probably been us. They'd have tried to crucify us, but I mean, look, they putting in effort to win by any means necessary, in a sense. But we didn't make a shot at none of these guys. There were players that were out there. Now, granted, some names stayed where they were, but why are you not casting a broader net into that water to get a fish?
Mm-hmm.
They got cute with it. They got cute. They got too cute and came up short.
Yeah. And I heard they wanted to go after Mike Conley, but obviously he signed back with them. And that's the whole thing that's disappointing. When you don't get certain players, you got to settle for other players. You know what I mean? And that's just a tough thing, that situation to be in. They might have wanted him. They say they wanted Conley. What happened? Conley signed back with Utah. They might have wanted this guy. They wanted Lonzo. Lonzo probably say, you know what? I'd rather run with Zach LaVine than Julius Randle, probably. He played with Randle in LA when they came into the league. He probably, and I think we missed out on a lot of guys, but I think they didn't want to come here at that time. You know what I mean? I think that's at least I'm saying, but because I'm quite sure these guys wanted a lot of these guys, man. But I think they do into better situations. You know what I mean? I mean, if I was Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan, I'd go there too.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you know what? A lot of these guys, like some players, made more money staying where they were.
Right.
So we can't get mad, and you can't force somebody to take your money either. But like Alonzo Ball, we didn't even make a run. Like last season, we should have try to get a sign and trade for Lonzo.
And maybe they drafted some dudes that they thought were in mind to play sooner than we think. Deuce McBride, Grimes, Rokas next year. Maybe they expected these guys to be in the rotation in 1 year, half a year, because that has to factor into some of their additions. There's so many free agents and still veteran minimum free agents out there that are available that I felt could super help us. One was not letting Frank walk. All they could have done was kept him on a veteran minimum. I mean, he's part of a good culture guy, bring him in situationally. The fact it just hurts me with the way that ended with Tibbs bringing him on with 10 seconds to go to guard Trae Young. Yeah, and then that's the last moment of court time he sees as a New York Knick. Then he's out of here.
Sorry, CJ, I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad. I just want to throw this out. We had a chance to trade Frank when he had a little value, and they elect not to trade him.
Yeah.
Detroit wanted him. We could have thrown him in with DSJ and got something else besides just D Rose. We could have gotten more, maybe a draft pick. Yeah, or that was the other one. Orlando wanted him. We could have gotten something else at the time.
T. Ross or something.
Yes. Look, T. Ross. Look, we could have got T. Ross. Think about T. Ross on this squad. That's a bucket.
Yeah, real talk. And yeah, there's a whole heap of dudes, like, not just saying this because I'm Australian, but Dante Exum, was playing for us in the Olympics, a few months ago,
Mm-hmm.
was locking up, he can run the point, he's a 6'6" guard, he's veteran minimum type dude. We don't look at these kind of moves. Paddy Mills again. I knew that was a bargain for $8 million because I've been seeing him for my country. He drops 40 in a FIBA Olympic game. We can't find nobody that can drop 40 in a normal game.
Yep. Hey, let me ask you another question, CT. Being that Tom Thibodeau said that he's gonna have to shake up the schemes and everything, or he might have to change up. Being that he said he's gonna have to change up, what do you think is the best option? If we look at changing up the lineup, what changes do he make to make this thing better? I mean, what do you think he need to do for us? If he said he might have to change the lineup again, where do we start at?
Yep. So I think the Burks thing won't last too long. I think the move, maybe another loss or two. The next move would be, and I can sort of agree with it, would be D Rose to start. Get Alec Burks back, or maybe Alec Burks to the 2 or 3, and you move Evan Fournier back. And then you elevate Deuce McBride ASAP. You elevate, what's his name, Luka Samanic. You see what they're like in practice, and you rock with it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
How about you?
So for me, me, I think we gotta balance that thing out. And one thing I like about our team last year, and they was like 3-2. And here's what I mean by 3-2. They had 2 good offensive dudes in that starting lineup and 3 good defensive dudes. You know what I mean? They had 2 offensive guys who were Randall and RJ. They had three defensive guys where it was Peyton, Bullock, and Mitch, or Noel, whichever my case may be, one of them 2, let's put it like that. And that's why that team was good, because they had a balance. Now we got one guy who can play defense at the center spot. The other 4 guys is all offensive ball players. All of them. Randall, RJ, Fournier, at the time, Kemba Walker, and now Alex Burks. And that's not a long enough sample size so I'm going to say Kemba Walker. We had one dude who could play defense at a high level, but he wasn't playing at a high level because he was coming off a rehab and all that stuff. But last year we had 2 main scorers, RJ and Julius Randle. They both led the team in scoring, but they was in a starting unit with guys who played defense. So, and I always just say 2-3-3-2, or maybe you might have 3 offensive guys with 2 good defensive guys. This year we got 1 defensive guy who not playing that good and 4 offensive guys. That's why I think we're a disaster starter for me. So that's the reason I keep bringing up the McBride. I think I would like to see McBride in that rotation. And I'm kidding you not, man. Just for food, I just would put him in the starting lineup. I really would, because I think we need a defense guy in that starting lineup who could stop that ball. We are not going nowhere. I don't care if you bring Damian Lillard in here. If we don't play New York Knicks defense in that first unit, we are not going nowhere, because we giving up 30 points a quarter. Think about that, 30 points a quarter. The team got 90 points on us after 3 quarters.
That's disheartening, man. How many times have we seen we've given up over 60 points in a half? That's defense, man. That's defense. It's killing us. And it blows my mind. It really, really does. It blows my mind. I was thinking, and I listened to what you're saying, Devon, and I'm with you on that. I'm at a point where I do something real radical, because if we're not gonna look, I don't see Kevin Knox being here next year. Signing him, that's a waste of money. You should have let him walk if you didn't want to trade him. It's a waste. That's $7 million wasted right there, just to sit him there. So why won't you put him on the floor? Besides the time he got in, he hit a 3, and that was it. Well, let's and he's a small forward. Would you?
Yeah, it was
figure
exactly
out to get him some time.
We had a Miles Bridges balling out. All we had to do is just hit on one of them picks. We had a Miles Bridges or Mikal Bridges starting at the 3 spot. Our defense would be on point, and we'd have another dude that can score.
Yeah, well, it's safe to say that the previous drafts really got us into this bad situation, because Frank, and Knox. Those draft picks are haunting us. Because you look at any of the
KP.
Bridges. Oh my God! You know the KP started the way it did, and the KP thought we were going to be going in a whole different direction. In a way, we kind of we saved a little face with KP because KP turned out to be IQ. IQ had his one day, but he's been a solid piece. But for a superstar, we thought we were going to we're looking for a young talent to build. And that kills us. But that Frank, you know, that whole thing, I don't care what you sell, you can't tell me, selling me a bill of goods. Frank was a second round draft pick. You think about all the talent that was in that draft with Frank. Then you think about all the talent that was in there with Knox, and we missed it all. Man, look, Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles could have pulled something out of the hat better than that, man.
Yeah.
I think that was the worst one. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
That Frank one was the worst one because them dudes
Donovan, Booker.
Donovan Mitchell.
Booker.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Come on, Booker, Donovan Mitchell. Oh my God.
Well, the Shea Gilgeous with Knox. Like,
God.
You had Nick
that hurt my heart.
2 Bridges, and you had Shea, who is a college. If you're there scouting Knox, how do you not notice scouting Shea Gilgeous playing next to him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it's the same what's his name, Gaines. He's the one who jumped up and down to get us to go after KP, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then the next season, and I can't take because DSJ and I talked about this. Delano and I have talked about this a lot, and he brought this. This is one thing he brought up that we talked about. Gaines is the one who just had us going full KP. That turned out to be a good one. He turned around and was telling management to go after Mitchell.
Yep.
Yet they went after Frank. And then after that, you notice Gaines he left the Knicks organization. That was bad management as our man Ron Cleveland would say, front office malpractice, man. Because like you said, Mitchell was right there. And then you go for Knox because he had a great workout. But if you look at his college, he only had one good game in college. And then you went with him because he did better than he outplayed the Bridges. Man, look, oh my God. It's frustrating to think about that.
You know what I think the Knox thing would have bit them in the butt? The Kentucky thing. That's what bit them in the butt with these Kentucky players.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And them cats cool with Calipari. And all those guys. So let's get Kevin from Kentucky. He played under Calipari. He can ball out. And you know what? And I think that's still them 2 draft picks, like you said, so figure, man, that's still haunting them. And I know it's water under the bridge is gone, man, but man, that's still haunting us because you look at the players who we look at Mal Bridges about to get the bag and he's balling out. Look at Don,
for real,
all-star, killing it. And even though my man was hurt like crazy, Michael Porter Jr., blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, we went the bed.
He was right there. He was right there. And granted, he's out for the season. Look, I still would have drafted Michael Porter Jr. Because I'm looking at what Philly did with Joel Embiid. And somebody, I was talking to a cat about this before. I said, I would have drafted him. And I just had him sit on the bench. But he's like, man, you can't do that. He's a high draft pick. You're going to have to put on. No, I don't. Who says I do? He's got a bad. I'll set him out for that whole season, that first year. That whole year, get your back better. We rehab and everything else. Because guess what? We're going to be back in the lottery again. We're going to be back in the draft. We're going to be drafted again with a high pick. So low-key, I would have done it like Philly in a sense. But if you have a talent like a Michael Porter to fall in your lap, I'm gonna jump on it. Hey, kill me later on it, but I'm gonna shoot my shot and take my chance on that, man. Granted, he's gone for the season now for his back, but guess what? Hey, the modern medicine and the technology, I'm pretty sure he'll be back.
Yep.
That's why one thing I do feel better about our front office is that we do got better scouts in here.
Mm-hmm.
We got the other Utah Walt Perrin. Yeah, and we got I don't think they may not hit home runs, but I don't think they're gonna whiff like that ever again if we found ourselves in the lottery. But another one is that DeJounte Murray. I'm not sure what pick number he went, but I think San Antonio got him pretty late.
They got him late, and it's been rumor. I know his name has been floating around the trade pool and rumor mill a little bit. You know, I would love to get him in New York.
And that dude averaged 18, 8, and 8. What? Oh my God, 18, 8, and 8 at the point guard spot in New York City. And play defense the way he played. Problem solved.
Plays D, two-way dude. He's like a mini Kawhi.
Yes.
Yep. And you know what? And that's the reason why I keep bringing up Deuce. I want everybody to remember Jamon Green with the 30. He was a second round pick.
Facts, yeah.
You know what I mean? But look at his heart and his intangibles. He got the bag and he don't even score.
Well, while you sucking the job and look at the Joker. Joker was a second round draft pick.
Right. So that's why I think you got to give McBride a shot, man. Because I think he got what the Knicks need. He definitely got the tools that the Knicks need. You can't look at him because he was a 30-something pick, because there's a lot of players with a 30-something pick. They wind up being superstars or possible all-stars. I think he got the ingredients to help the New York Knicks right now with the way he played basketball. We're not asking him to come in to be a savior or nothing. I think that Deuce McBride could come in New York City right now and get in that point guard spot. And how bad can he be compared to how bad it's been? And that's my whole point. How bad could Deuce McBride be compared to what we've been having?
I think he'd be a ray of sunshine, a little breath of fresh air. Me myself.
I think he'd give us better defense than Kemba. I think he would have made our defense more solid than Kemba. I think he could have made our defense right now more solid than Alex Burks. The Knicks need a defense ball player down there. Go let that boy get in there and play a couple of games. If he don't pan out 2 games, you send him back to the bench. That's all you got to do.
Luka.
He might pop. He might pop. And you say, oh, snap. Deuce McBride, 12 points and 6 assists.
Yes, sir. And what CT just said, Luka, I bring him up. I bring Luka up, man, because right now he's making way too much noise down there in that G League, man. Hey, you got Selden. Hey, you can give Selden his walking papers and bring him up, man.
I'll drive him to the airport right now. I'm not even in the country.
I come up there on my Huffy bike and put him on the back, or my mongoose. I put him on the back of the mongoose and give him a ride, man.
Skateboard. I'm gonna give him a skateboard and say,
piggyback ride, something.
I'll pay for his Uber fare. And welcome my man Jarvis LaFleur. Hope you're well, fam.
Yes, sir. Salute to you. How you doing?
Yep. Good. Yeah, I know our thoughts are with you, your family. I know it's today's a tough day.
Yeah. It was a pretty rough one. But we got through it, and I pretty much for the most part been with family pretty much the majority of the day. Then I ended up coming back to the hotel that I'm at. But just spending time with family or whatever. Man, happened to see you guys was on. I said, well, let me got a little break. I would have tried to come on, but I didn't want to. When I seen that you were on, I couldn't, because I had my little nephew here. I had to watch him, so it wasn't no use trying to do anything with him. It would have been a major distraction. But yeah, guys, I didn't get to see. I didn't see the game or anything today, man. Y'all fellas, fill me in.
You didn't miss nothing.
Want to see it.
You didn't want to see that. You didn't want to see that Travis.
Save 3 years of your life.
You didn't want to see that, Travis.
Brother, you ain't want to see that game today.
Oh, so it's better. It's better that I missed it.
Yes.
You know what? You would have had a better time watching paint dry.
Oh wow.
You would have been heated.
Wow, man.
We're getting people
so I take it
airline tickets ready.
Was we least within? So I take it we lost.
Oh, you don't want to know how bad. Look.
Oh, it was bad. Yeah.
Look, I put it to you. Hey, Jarvis. I put it like this here. You can put on a pork chop swimsuit, jump in a vat of piranha, and come out better than what we did today.
Hey, Jarvis. Wow. Hey, Jarvis, let me tell you something. I'm a Knicks fan, brother. You know I'm an optimistic brother. You know that. We all are. I was disappointed to the 10th power today.
Word.
Well, that lets me know if it was bad to hear Divine really say it like that, because Divine will give individuals the benefit of the doubt. It isn't that Divine don't recognize that changes may need to happen. It's just he tries to find a way to maximize every opportunity in-house, give individuals every benefit of the doubt to try to correct something that they may have did wrong or needed to do better, and just trying to give them just opportunities, man, and just try to see improvement, whatever. But then it gets to a point to where reality is setting in to where, to me, to be honest with you fellas, I don't know about y'all, but I think a move is gonna be done by trade deadline. I don't think we're gonna be able to get around it. Some kind of move. Now, what move it is, I don't know, but I tell you two things for sure that needs to be done. That point guard position, to me,
Yes.
is key, and that wing, that larger, that bigger wing. We need that. If we can do that, I think we can get around the other stuff. There's other stuff concerning the center position to where you can play in and out. If you got like an offensive center, like that can kind of complement Julius Randle, that could be in play too. Kind of like a Cat Randall situation. But I think for the most part, first things first. And then on top of that, to be honest with you, the guys that we have here is not being utilized properly too.
Yes.
So that's another thing. Then on top of that, another thing that is starting to rear its head, man, is we're a little too predictable, man. We have too much of a freelancing offense. There's really no X's and O's, really no offensive sets, too much offensive sets. So we will have a hard time really scoring easy baskets like that. So you have that situation going on. Then on top of that, then you have that inconsistency going on with the efforts and stuff, with some of these players or whatever. And I tell you, and then on top of that, Mitch is not really right now. He'll give you what he can give you, but he's taking he's regressed some, and you can tell, and hopefully that I believe there's possibility for something like that to change. And then how healthy has really Noel has really been. So we got some issues there all around, but I think some moves are definitely going to be in the making, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, facts. And we'll keep this show a shorter one. We'll go another 15. We'll go around the panel and get everyone sort of what you'd like to see next, I guess. What Divine asked before. Divine, what's something that you would what we can do from next game onwards, and then also, trade deadline or December 15.
For one, I was, me, I'm already saying it. You got to let Deuce McBride play. Let him play.
I'm with that.
Hey, let me ask you guys about this trade. I know people, and I know people don't want to hear, but because it's not long, not both of them not long. What about this trade here? You tell me would y'all do this year? Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker, Mitchell Robinson, and whatever you got to put in there that makes sense for John Wall and Christian Woods.
Well, you know what? The John Wall is interesting. I'm just a little scared because John Wall has a history of injuries too. Like I said earlier, he was at one time one of the best point guards. I don't know. I have to see, but I can't back and see. I don't want us going back up with a retread. That's the only thing. Christian Wood, I know we tried to get him before. We looked at him, but didn't make a move. It's just that with John Wall can bring a lot, but I mean, he's still unproven, but he's over 30. Was he 31?
Yep.
He's 31. So I wouldn't, because I want a younger point guard to give us some. I would look at OKC and see what they got over there. I know we ain't gonna be able to get SGA because he signed it. They just extended him.
Okay.
But De'Aaron Fox, maybe. I mean, he's got on a big contract and he's young. He's a little older, but he's younger. But he's been on that contract for a minute, so it's a possibility. Fox, maybe want to look that way.
Yeah.
And he's still only 23.
You know what I thought about that last night, CT? I think was nice. What I said. The only thing I was concerned with Fox and Randall.
Yeah.
That money tied up in somebody that might not get us a ring. Or Fox and Randall enough to get us a ring with all that money tied up with them two dudes. Or you gonna have to find a way to put another piece. Do you think them two dudes gonna lead us to a ring? I know they can get us probably to the Eastern Conference Finals. Do Fox and Randall put us over because he got like 200 million and Randall got 100-something million.
Yeah, but Fox only got, I think he's at least in the second or third year of that super max. So
I thought he got that like a year or two ago.
There's only got to be at least maybe 2 more years after this.
2 more years.
Well, it's too. Well, I'll do it then.
It ain't too bad.
I wouldn't find that last year, the year before.
But see, we're gonna have to make a series of moves. It's gonna be 2 moves because we got to upgrade that point guard and that small forward. And what I would do is Evan's not a good fit. I would have to try. I got to move Evan and Kemba. I will put RJ back at the 2. Whoever I can bring in, and I don't need a big name small forward. Like I said, Harrison Barnes is one. Robert Covington is one.
That's what I want.
I know a lot of people were saying
Eric
Grant
Gordon.
from Detroit. Eric, Gordon. But like Grant, we ain't gonna be able to get Grant. Grant is the man in Detroit. We can't get him. Would I love to see that big roster down in New York? Yes, indeed, I would. But he's got a bigger contract, and he's the man in Detroit. They're kind of building around him. So, and I will look at other means, but Harrison Barnes, Robert Covington. If you're talking about a trade, those are 2 pieces we could possibly get, or even though it'd be a stretch, to see if we could probably pry a Cam Reddish from Atlanta, but I seriously doubt because his stock went up. And then I would look for a younger point guard.
Would you trade? Would you guys trade Julius Randle for Sabonis and Brogdon?
Oh, man! Ooh,
Dang.
Man, why you gotta ask me that? Why you gotta put that out there like that?
Hey, I think Indiana and us are destined to collide because they're underperforming too, and they're about. There's an article saying they're about to be sellers. You know,
I saw something. It's about to be a fire sale. I know some people were talking about TJ Warren, but I don't want TJ Warren because he is injury prone. He's a walking mass unit.
Yep. I do Kemba Walker, Mitchell Robinson, and blah blah blah. Whoever else for Brogdon and Turner.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking more of Brogdon and
Brogdon and Mitchell Turner. Look, I would, because you know what? I've been on that. You guys heard me say that about Brogdon before. CT and Jarvis Mill on Run. We talked about that.
Oh yeah.
And I know Malcolm Brogdon, he suffered from injuries too, but he's 27, 28, I think.
Less than that, about 26, about Julius Randle.
26, 27.
Yeah,
6'7". He's 6. What is he? 6'6", 6'7". He's a big point guard. Plays defense. Can get you a bucket. Everything we need. That's now. If you said of a I don't even really consider him a retread. I would take a Brogdon and a Miles Turner. I mean, Miles Turner's injury prone, but the way he's been kind of moving, yeah. But see, I'm glad that the Pacers are going through it because they drafted Chris Duarte when we were trying to get him. They just jumped up and get him because he didn't have a fit with them. He didn't fit in what they needed. But the word got out because we brought him in for a workout and we were high on that kid, and they snatched him up from us.
Hey, one reason why I see Jarvis, I'll let you go real quick. Why I would do the Miles Turner thing right now and Brogdon, because Miles Turner got 2 years left or 1 or 2 years left. If you extend Mitch, you would have Mitch at 4 years at 50-something million when you only got Miles Turner at 2 years, 36 million.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so you still get to keep him 2 years for another 2 years, and supposed to have to keep him for 4 years, like Mitchell Robinson for 4 years, knowing that he might not. Now, y'all guys know I'm a big Mitch too, but it's concerning right now the way he's playing. But if you tell me Turner and Brogdon for Kemba Walker and Mitchell Robinson, and maybe you had to throw in somebody else and a couple of picks, I would have to seriously think about that. And I think the Knicks should as well. I just think that would be a good move for them.
And the other thing about Miles Turner, fellas, that I can see that Mitch is not doing well. Miles Turner can get out and defend those stretch fives. Well, Mitch is handicapped at that. If you notice, Mitch's first move is to go underneath, go back and guard the rim. And so the Joker is the Joker. He's eighth wonder of the world. But when you got Vucevic lighting you up like a Christmas tree like he did, you know, and he was wide open. Vucevic was just wide open. Turner can do that. But also Mitch is not right because you see how slow he's getting out. But then too, it is also, I also want to put a lot of the problem on the defense from the point, our guard position. I mean, the defense, the lack of defense at our guard position is putting Mitch in no man's land. So it's a lot of factors. But if you clear up that point guard and that small forward, I think we're cooking with some grease.
Yep. Yeah, facts. And Jarvis, if you can, give us some move what you'd like to see, and then we'll close it down for tonight. We'll be back next week, of course. This thing happens thick and fast.
So,
yep. Jarvis, you with us?
yeah, I'm sorry, man. Got stuck here for a moment.
You good?
Yeah, it would be. I mean, that's some interesting, individuals that you were talking about. I tell you what, man. I would not. If I could look. If we don't do anything else, I would rather shore that point guard position and the wing position up, to be honest with you, and just let everything else ride. But if we can just either get one or the other, hey man, I'll settle for that.
Mm-hmm.
So whether and me preferably, I would say the point guard position. If we can just solidify something like that, get something like like I've said it before and I say it again. Even if you have to do a 3 or 14 trade or something to that effect, I want DeJounte Murray here. That's who I want. So we can make that happen. We can make that happen. I think a wing. It might not be able to get. Maybe we don't get a high profile wing, but somebody like Soulfinger was saying, like Robert Covington. Jeremy Grant, I think is obtainable, but I don't think Detroit do it. So we might have to go with Sadiq Bey, which I don't mind that.
Oh yes, that's another one, and we had a chance to draft him too. That's another one right there. Yes, thank you, Josh.
So if we could solidify that point guard position and get somebody like DeJounte Murray, then hey man, bring a Sadiq Bey here. If you can't get anything else, and hey, we can roll with that, and I'd be happy with that. And then everything else is just I think everything else will fall in line because that'll just continue us building with better chemistry and continuity and players that'll fit better with each other and players that'll fit better with how Tibbs want us to play. And another thing that I would do to have to see about another move here, I was wondering this going from last season to this season. If Johnny Bryan is not the guy, then let's get an offensive assistant in here, man. That's going to help draw up plays to be able to make us have easier opportunities, easier scoring opportunities. And for the players we have there, so we don't just be freelancing. Or just leave it up into Julius Randle's hands. We need pressure taken off of this guy. So if anybody, man, that I'm going to put some pressure on this year, there's some blame to be going from top to bottom for bringing in players that didn't seem to fit with Evan Fournier. And I have to be honest, at this point, Evan Fournier, we actually paid too much for Evan Fournier. So, but he's here. So we got to deal with the contract and we got to deal with it as is. But the good thing about it is movable. So whether we move him at trade deadline or next year, whatever. But definitely, man, that point guard situation and get a wing. And we'll roll with something else because even if we keep Mitch and we don't extend him, he's making $1.8 million, and then if they let him go, and he wants to seek greener pastures somewhere else, then he's able to do that. And then it's like, hey, Mitch, appreciate you, and good luck in your future endeavors or what have you. And we roll like that.
Yep.
And the only other thing I want to see is at this point, is man, might as well give Jericho. You're not sending him to the G League. Give him some burn, man, to share some of the minutes. And then another thing we can do if we don't do nothing else, why not let these young guys play? Why not? You might as well, man. I mean, what else you got to lose?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you
we've
can. I
been
mean,
saying that.
at this point, man, let Knox play. At this point,
Yeah,
you know.
Sachs,
But hey,
Jarvis.
man, those are just the things that I think would get us started on the right track, man, and reset us right with the right foundation, and we can easily build a championship team in a couple of years if we do the things that I'm thinking we do.
Yep. Hey, I agree. I appreciate you, Jarvis, coming through tonight. Glad that you're well. Let us know when you make it back home safe. We'll be on again next week. This thing's never ending. The streets are still buzzing. Knicks Real Talks here. Divine did a post-game show tonight as well, just after the game. If you haven't checked that out yet, go and check that out. It was a great post-game show, going back and forth with other, breakdowns, suggestions. How do we fix this thing moving forward? A lot of panelists venting out. So yeah, it's been a good day overall, chopping it up with the Knicks community. We're back at it next week. Everyone's on notice, Divine. We're going to see some more news. We're going to be dropping the Real Buzz soon as well with our breakdowns, more news next week. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, salute to the chat tonight, everyone coming through, the panelists, and Divine, take us out for tonight.
Yeah, man. Salute to everybody, man. Jarvis, I'm glad, you're getting through what you're getting through, man. Only you're strong survivor, only you're a strong brother, so I know you're gonna get through it. And you got family down there, which is a salute to you on that, man. And prayers up, real talk. You know what, man? Disappointing day, guys. It ain't the end of the season, but it's a disappointing day for us as Knicks fans. Our team laid an egg tonight. I mean, they laid a big egg. And it was just disappointing to see, but we live to fight another day. We got 3 days off. We go back again Tuesday. We get down on the road in San Antonio on Tuesday night. So hope between Sunday and Monday and traveling, they can get their thoughts together and try to steer the ship back in the right direction, man. Like I said, I'm not jumping I'm not jumping board. It's just that I'm disappointed as a Knicks fan, the way they played tonight. Jarvis 33 quarters in a row. They gave up 30 points. You can't do that. But overall, man, we need to do some changes. I like to see. I'm gonna call Tiz. I'm gonna tweet to his tweet thing blow up. Put Deuce McBride in the starting lineup. I'm about to go on Twitter and blow his Twitter up. But yeah, man. Hopefully we get it together, man. I know we're gonna see some changes coming down the line, guys. But CT, the streets above, and great show. Jarvis, my man, Soulfinger, thanks for coming in. To chat where it's at, man. Thank you guys on a down day, man. Y'all come up in here and support our platform to keep us humble by y'all coming up in here, man. We appreciate y'all so much for coming on here, even on down nights like tonight, and y'all lift the spirits up. So salute to the chat, because that's where it's at. Knicks Real Talk. I'm in the building with the streets of buzzing, and we'll see y'all, man. Y'all look out for the video drop on the Real Buzz. Tomorrow night or Tuesday night we'll drop the video just going over the week in review, the NBA, the Knicks. And we get it popping. And we'll see you guys Tuesday, man. Pre-game, post-game. Hopefully the Knicks go down to San Antonio and with a couple of days off to get their mind right, turn this thing around, and get back to some New York Knicks basketball, man. I still got hope. We 11-12. The shit ain't sinking that bad, but it was a definitely start today. It was disappointing, but we'll get it though. CT, the streets above and Jarvis. Yo, salute to you guys, man. Peace.
Yep. Peace. Let's get it. Keep the streets buzzing, everyone. Be well. See you next week.